Cool. And we are live. What is up, everyone? And welcome to another episode at the Ronnie Asani Show. Joining me today is Sherif Goubran. A quick intro about Sherif. Or do you say Sheriff? Sherif.
Sherif is good.
Okay, so Sherif worked in the wine industry for about 9 years, give or take. And one of the things that he worked on in the past was he started along with a co-founder,
Correct.
your brother-in-law,
Yes. Family business.
and sold a company called Quick Bottle,
Yes.
which is an online platform that delivers alcohol on demand and connects bottle shops with end users. Today, they still work together on a new business, which we're going to be talking about today, along with a lot of topics around entrepreneurship. The business is called Craft Zero, which is an online platform offering a range of local and imported non-alcoholic grown-up drinks. So without further ado, Mr. Sherif, welcome to the Ronnie Asani Show. Good to have you, mate.
Thanks, Ronnie. Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
What is up, everyone? This is Ronnie, your host of the Ronnie Asani Show. My number one goal in this show is to bring you some of the most amazing and accomplished individuals in the business world to share with you some real, raw, and authentic business insights. We sit down and talk in a casual setting, nothing too serious, yet we unpack some of the most incredible ideas, concepts, and best practices. So please sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Oh, and don't forget to share the love. Like, share, and subscribe. Gracias, amigos. Cool. So, are we going to get drunk on the non-alcoholic beer today?
Unfortunately not.
That's one of the things I didn't know, that most, and correct me if I'm wrong, most of the non-alcoholic, even with the non-alcoholic beer, it's a 0.5%. So technically you can get drunk if you drink like 10,000 of them.
Well, you probably won't survive by the time you get to 10,000.
Yeah.
but no, well, the idea of the 0.5, it's actually 0.05.
Oh, is it? Okay.
So so it's very minute, and the reason it's that low is because there's always that little bit extra that they can't really extract, and
right,
and that's why they keep it in there. Now it's equivalent to something like orange juice or kombucha or vinegar. They all have traces of alcohol.
Yep.
But it's so insignificant that they don't advertise it.
Right.
So that's the same thing with those drinks. It's 0.05 to 0.0%. So you won't get drunk.
Bummer. All right, we can close the show now. All right, cool. Well, look, there's not a lot of people, there's not a lot of companies in Australia that focus on that segment of beverages. Is that correct?
Yes, it's a very niche market. But in saying that, there's a lot of branded companies at the moment, a lot of big branded companies that are starting to enter that field.
Yep.
Some of these guys are Gießen.
Yep.
Even Guinness.
Yep.
Lately, I've heard of Gordon Gin bringing out a new
Interesting
gin that's non-alcoholic.
Yep.
And the idea of it is that not everybody likes to drink, right? I mean, I want to go to a party, I want to socialize, I want to go out with you at the pub, but at the same time, I want to look after my daughter the next day.
Yep.
I want to be able to wake up clear-headed.
Yep.
So there's many reasons why you choose not to drink. But it's a growing market. It is a small market here in Australia. It started in the UK. Oh, well, I'd say the UK would have led the trend. Seedlip is one of the trendsetters. They started their first non-alcoholic spirit.
Yep.
In the market, and a lot of people started following from there.
I guess with the trend of everyone being super health conscious, everyone being conscious about what they put in their body, what kind of food, what kind of, even with the drinks, you'll find a lot of people who prefer to drink, even with the cocktails, if it was an alcoholic beverage, to have low calories. But generally speaking, with even food and being conscious about what kind of diet you're on and all that stuff, this sort of branch is definitely up and coming. So was the, correct me, do you agree with that or not?
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Absolutely right.
And so I guess, was the intention, or did you guys spot this sort of niche and you saw the trend into the future, or was it more like something that you were passionate about? Was it a mix? How did it all come about?
Okay, so as you know, we had a small business called Wine & Co, where we supplied restaurants with wines.
Yep.
Alcoholic wines. And we were always interested in more of a healthier lifestyle and healthier drinking and living in more of a mindful lifestyle.
Yep.
You know, there's a choice out there that was available to us, and we started exploring. So we looked at the non-alcoholic range and mostly overseas products. Nevertheless, while we're doing that, there was a ton of guys here in Australia locally that have started to emerge.
Yep.
A few breweries and a few distilleries starting to coming up just in the last couple of years. So it's not long ago. And as we started tasting those products, and we thought, wow, the products were so incredible that we thought, well, if we like them, someone else out there must like them as well.
Yep.
So we decided to put everything, focus on that sort of niche market, and we decided to put all these products onto the one platform and make it a place where people can come and explore and find out that there is a choice out there, and they can drink, you know, an alcoholic beer or a spirit or a wine without having to put up with a painful hangover the next day.
Yeah, you don't have to be boring at parties. You can still rock up with, what is this, a gin bottle?
So this is Orvant.
Right.
So these guys are one of the new guys that have just popped up on the scene recently.
Yep.
They're from the Margaret River, and they do 3 different types of distilled spirits.
Yep.
And this is one of them. So they've got no alcohol, no sugar, no sweeteners, no artificial colors, gluten-free, vegan. So
wow.
It's all the
you covered like 5 different audience types in that.
Yeah. Well, these guys are incredible. Their packaging and their presentation is incredible.
Yep.
The way they've designed the product is very seductive. You can see that the cocktails that they suggest with those particular type of drinks, they're not overly complex, but they are really enhanced with. They're designed to be mixed. But they're also designed to drink on their own as well.
Yep. So for anyone listening, if you're really into knowing how to mix some of these spirits, head over to Craft Zero on Instagram. You guys post a lot of videos on that.
Yep.
Or even get in touch or go on the website. Are we going to try a few things and then we'll go back into our conversation?
Yeah, absolutely.
Are these chilled?
I've chilled a couple here. I think
doesn't matter. We'll drink them anyway.
Yeah. Well, why don't we try have a beer first?
A beer?
Yeah.
Cool.
Let me serve you since
I'm the host.
Since you're the host, I'll. This is okay. So these guys here, Heaps Normal. These guys are incredible, right? They launched, I'd say, about a year and a half ago.
Okay.
And they've just recently, you just can see the colour on that brew there.
Yep.
It's got a beautiful floral nose. And they've recently just raised funds to expand it even bigger. And they've only got one line at the moment, but they do have plans on expanding. This is an XPA.
Yep.
But they are looking at getting a few different varietals as well.
Right. All right.
So
here comes the moment.
Okay.
We've all been waiting for.
Maybe I'll join you as well. And this is one of my favorites as well. So
how rude of me, drinking
okay.
before you. Cheers.
Cheers.
Do you do cheese when you have a non-alcoholic drink?
Yeah, absolutely.
Shall we?
So this was once upon a time an alcoholic drink.
Yep.
But obviously the alcohol has been extracted from it. So there's a process that they go through where they extract the alcohol.
Yep.
There's several different processes. I'm not going to bore you with the detail of it, but
first impression, it does taste like an XPA.
Yeah,
that's good. That's really good.
It's a good start.
Because the one thing you don't want is if I were to drink a drink that or like a spirit or a beer that I'm used to, or a variety of it, and I'm gonna have the non-alcoholic version of it, you don't want it to taste, I guess, very much different because you're used to it. That's what you like, right? So
That's
keeping
correct.
that same taste to a maximum level is that something they look for, like they try to do, right?
That's right. Yeah. So obviously the reason why we drink those drinks is because we crave the taste of beer. I mean, me personally, I love the taste of beer. I do love a taste of the wine. I love drinking wine, but I don't necessarily like the side effects. So that's the idea of it. Is it has to taste as close as possible to the real deal.
Yep.
Otherwise, it's
Otherwise, what are we doing?
What are we doing exactly?
All right.
Yeah.
We'll come back to all of this in a bit, but let's switch gears a little bit to entrepreneurship in general. Now, you have been in the entrepreneurship world for quite a bit. Give or take how many years? 9 years, 10 years, something like that?
Something like that, yes.
Something like that. And so we got a lot of knowledge sitting in between both of us to kind of share some insights, some, I guess, maybe even stories or just some information for anyone who's looking to start a business, whether it's in the FMCG space or any other space. What do you think? What's, I guess, let's start with how did you find the first couple of years as an entrepreneur, starting a new business, not having any, I guess, track record in an industry that you're going into, or maybe you did, but obviously not the experience that you have today. What would you say, what was your biggest challenge personally?
Look, there's a couple of things. Firstly is financially.
Yep.
Okay.
Not having the money.
Look, committing to a container of stock worth $50,000.
Yep.
You don't know whether it's gonna work or not.
Yep.
Whether you don't know whether you're gonna be stuck with it. So that's one biggest thing. One biggest risk. Yes.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, Ronnie, if I got $1 for every time someone told me what's the point of what you're doing,
yep,
we'd be a rich man right now.
Yep. There's a lot of naysayers. Definitely.
There's a lot of people out there. The conversations we've had with so many people telling us, what's the point of drinking an alcoholic? It's a waste. But if we listen to these people, they're probably less than 5%.
Yep.
Right. And if you just put these people aside and you just focus on the ones that are actually appreciating the products, focus your marketing on what you're doing, on those particular people, and always have a niche market. So don't try to go too big. Focus on exactly what you're selling and understand your customer.
Yep.
And if you're looking after your customer, your customer will always come back to you.
Yep.
So that's
probably. I like the point. All amazing pointers, but the point about not listening to people and sticking to your gut. I find this very, very interesting, and I often talk about it and think about it a lot because you need to listen to people and get advice throughout your journey. No matter, I don't care, if you're at the pinnacle or if you're still starting out. Everyone needs a mentor. Everyone needs advice. Everyone needs to listen to people to get ahead. But it's the balance of, okay, well, one, who am I listening to, right? Who am I getting advice from? Have they walked the path before? Do they know what they're talking about? Are they giving me advice just because they care about me or because they know what they're talking about? A lot of times people will give you advice with the best intentions, but they might not necessarily know what they're talking about.
It's also that the person that's giving you that advice might not be the target market you're in. You know, if someone tells me what's the point of this, he's not the target market. He's not my customer. Right? So yes, I appreciate that he might not be. And in his case, it's probably not worthwhile, right? But if you expand your reach a little bit and you speak to more people and you get more of an understanding, you will find people that are interested. And if you do find people that are interested, there's more people out there that are like-minded.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So.
And the other point you mentioned was treating your customers well.
Absolutely.
So what was your experience in that? Excuse me, the beer is giving me it's getting a little fizzy in my stomach. So obviously, you know, we all know that customer is the most important. Looking after your customer is the most important part of the business, and customer experience is instrumental in an FMCG, fast-moving consumer good industry. It becomes even more important because your customer is a recurring buyer, right? They keep coming back.
Definitely.
If they like the product, but not only the product, but how you delivered it, how you presented it, you know, their experience on the website from the first landing page to the checkout, because you guys do online purchase and delivery, and after that too. So in your experience, how important is it for that sort of environment that you guys are in?
Look, aftercare is very important, right? If the customer jumps online, he likes the products, he buys them, it might take him, you know, the delivery might be late, the goods might get damaged along the way. There's always an issue that might come up, right? The most important thing is that this customer has to be responded to immediately. This customer's problem has to be solved immediately and have to be rectified. And the customer has to be compensated for whatever the issue might be, right? Now, the speed of response is very important in that instance. And that's what we focus on. So you might even though you might be upset, you might be angry that something's gone wrong, the fact that someone automatically responded to you and attended to your call instantly or as fast as possible might change that whole experience upside down, right? So some things are out of our control as a business. We do work with other businesses, courier companies, delivering, packing. Right? So, and whether it's our business or someone else's business, though, you know, something can go wrong with any kind of business, right? So the important thing is to make sure that these issues are attended to quickly as possible, right?
And also taking the feedback you hear from customers on board and going back to your business and looking at, okay, well, what are the things that we need to do to improve that experience? I get it. You know, a lot of times things will be out of your hands as a business owner, or as a business in general, and responding back straight away to whoever who's getting in touch is important because it makes them feel that they're not left in the dark, right?
Definitely, 100%.
But it's also after that, what do you do to ensure that experience, whether it was within your control or perhaps outside of your control, how can you ensure that this doesn't happen, or at least happens less frequently in the future? And we're talking in general here. We're not talking about craft zero. We're just talking sharing some ideas. So yeah, I think it's kind of twofold.
Yeah. Look, you have to kind of step back and look at the picture from a sort of a bird's eye and see, okay, why is this problem occurring and how can I do it better, right? I'll just give you an example with what happened with us. And it was, we're getting a high level of damages, right?
From your suppliers?
At the very beginning.
Okay.
At the very beginning. So we stopped, we evaluated, and we invested a lot of money in packaging. Right? And dividers, packaging, protect biofuel, you know,
Yep.
what have you. And the damages have reduced dramatically since, right? So there's always a reason behind something, but at the end of the day, yes, you could have the best packaging, you could have
Yep.
the best, you know, dividers and whatever the most expensive
Yep.
protective material, but you know the courier might drop it along the way. You know,
Yep.
that's something that's out of your control. But it's important to make sure that you take the right steps to make sure that these things are attended to properly.
Yep.
So this is something that we've done to improve on what we had, and it's worked.
I think to summarize this point, every dollar spent to make a customer happy is worth, in my opinion, a lot more than $10 spent on people who are not your customers, right?
Definitely.
So making sure whoever who's already transacting with you, who decided to give you their money, whether it's $10 or 10 million, that their experience is amazing, is to me worth a lot more than trying to spend a lot of money on, you know, trying to brand yourself, digital marketing, advertising, whatever the case may be, because your customers are your biggest asset, in my opinion.
Definitely, 100%.
Cool. All right, let's go back to Craft Zero. So are you ready to try something else?
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. Maybe we can.
I don't want to look like a binge drinker in front of the camera.
Maybe we can pour it out and we can try something else.
Pour it out in...
Yeah, we can maybe pour it out in this glass and we can try something different if you like.
Sure.
It looks like you don't want to pour it out.
I don't want to waste, man. That's how I was raised, man. Never waste anything. Plus, I like my water. Cool.
Okay.
I guess you don't want to... Oh, you're happy to pour in the same glass?
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, okay.
That's fine. Do you want to jump on another beer?
Sure.
Or you want an RTD?
Let's try an RTD.
Let's try an RTD. Okay, this is an Amalfi Spritz by Lyres. So this is one of the new range. Would have been nice to have a bit of ice here, but or have them chilled. But I'll just give you an idea.
Okay, just a quick rundown on what's inside it, or what flavor, what spirit.
So, okay, so Lyres, Lyres is refers to the Lyres bird, right?
Right,
Which
okay.
it mimics everything.
Yep.
Right. So in this case, they've used it to mimic an alcoholic drink, which is the famous Aperol Spritz.
Yep. Oh, okay.
But this is their version of it.
Love
It's
it.
called the Amalfi Spritz. So they have hundreds of different flavors and spices and concentrates to produce those products. I don't know all the exact contents of it, but these guys they are so successful because their range offering is so large compared to other
Yep.
companies. Whereas most people might just have 2-3 lines.
Yep.
These guys have, off the top of my head, they might have something like 10, 15.
Wow. Okay.
Right?
Diversify.
Definitely, and that's what an investor would usually look at is how broad is your offering.
Yep.
And these guys just raised, I can't remember the figures, but they have raised the sum just in the last year as well.
Shout out to them.
Cheers.
Cheers. So that's bittersweet. Is that correct?
Little bit sweet, correct. It does.
Bittersweet, or
It's
I think you said.
It's got a little bit of a fruitier front.
Yep.
Cool. It's the flavor profile will sort of dry up as it chills. So if you add a little bit of ice, it'll give it a little bit more of a refreshing taste to it.
I like it. It's not too sweet.
No,
I don't
not
like.
too sweet.
I don't like very sweety stuff.
Yes.
I'm more of a savory tooth.
Yeah, well, I agree. I think I'm the same.
In general, not talking about drinks, just in general.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So when I have anything that's super sweet, I don't know. I always have to end most of the time if I eat
With a
on
savory.
something
Okay.
savory.
It's well, it's interesting you say that because the Australian market is very well. They don't really like sweet drinks.
Do or do not?
Do not.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Especially the wines. We sell the dry wines sell a lot better than the sweeter style wines.
Wow,
So
right on the money. So I'm a great representation of the Australian demographic
absolutely.
when it comes to wine. Cool. Yeah, I like it. I can definitely imagine the taste with a bit of ice too.
Yes.
Make a whole lot of difference.
Yes, ice makes a big difference.
Just like when you have your Coke of the world, like all the Coca-Cola, Pepsi,
Yes.
all these brands, all these carbonated beverages. If you have them without ice, I find as a consumer, the taste is only like 70% or 60% of its potential.
Yes.
Once you add ice, it's just like, what
Something
is
different,
going on?
yeah.
Like, what is going on?
Yes. Well, you know what? Just going back to these guys, they have articulated everything, right? From in terms of the way they present their products, right? In terms of the ambassador's shirt has to be styled in a particular way whenever he visits customers. His business card is I think I still got it at home because it looks so good. I don't want to throw it away.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
The every bit of detail that they do is so well thought through, and articulated so well that it just really builds the brand and really gives it that credibility.
And it makes you memorable.
And it makes it memorable, definitely.
Yep.
And just seeing something it stands out from the rest of the crowd. So this is something that we would hope to also
Replicate.
Definitely.
Cool. So I guess we can talk about this whole idea of or area of how do you, as an entrepreneur, away from these particular products, any type of industry, when you go down the path of sourcing a supplier, a product, finding the right vendors for your supply chain, what are the main things that you look for? Is it things like trust? Is it also, I guess, the quality of the products, how niche they are, how differentiated they are? So as a business owner, when you go down the path of looking at, okay, I'm going to do business with that person, I'm going to buy products or source from that manufacturer, or I'll use the services of this vendor. What are the top things that you look for in general?
Okay, so that's an interesting question because we pride ourselves to be having the biggest range of alcoholic products on one particular platform.
Yeah.
So we reach out to tons of suppliers, right? However, we do have requirements, and one of those requirements are the product has to be less than 0.05% alcohol, and we do value products that have more features.
Right.
So, whether it's gluten-free, whether it's organic, whether it's vegan, no sugar, no artificial flavoring, and what have you. So we do appreciate products we do focus on products that do have features, but we also try to work with as many suppliers as we can that are in the industry because we want to be the leaders in that field. So in saying that, we are always looking at new suppliers, new offerings, new products to increase the portfolio.
Yep. In terms of work relationships in general, when you go down a path of working with someone or supplier, do you tend to look at certain things like what terms you get, what track record they have, how scalable they can be? For example, maybe one vendor or one producer or whatever can max at a certain level. Do you have like like certain things that you prioritize? Excuse me, first.
Look, I mean, each supplier would work on a different scale and a different level. Some suppliers would offer you 30 days or 60 days. Some suppliers are a lot smaller and they can't do that, and which is understandable.
Yep.
We adjust our order quantities based on that. So we don't really have. I mean, obviously the supplier has to be credible. We're not gonna put someone that's that hasn't had any track record of what the product is, but at the same time, we did have small guys that are that have been listed on our platform that are done really well, and they, right from the start, and we were one of the first ones to have them on there. So
size of the business doesn't dictate.
No,
yeah,
it doesn't. It doesn't really. We're open to suppliers that are our industry.
Yep.
And we're more of a community-based business as well. So we do support small businesses.
Yep.
And we do appreciate having them on our website.
Yep. All right. So going back to the whole idea of non-alcoholic beverages, when you guys have been in business for quite some time now. You get feedback, you get, whether it's on social media or even directly in emails to you or not, people telling you all sorts of things about how they enjoyed the product and why they bought it in the first place. Would you say that being health conscious is the main thing people reach out to these types of products and non-alcoholic beverages, or?
Look, there's many reasons why people won't drink. I mean, health is probably one of the biggest reasons. There's pregnant women out there that, they miss a drink and they
would like to have one.
They'd like to have one. There's religious reasons. There's people that are on medication, and some people that just want to, they're fit, healthy. They got to go for the hike next day, or they want to go for a surf the next day, or they want to be clean minded and they don't want to be bogged down really. So, and look, I mean, just because you drink non-alcoholic drinks doesn't mean you can't drink alcoholic drinks as well. So we're more focused on a mindful lifestyle and not just alcohol. Don't drink at all. We're saying you could have a non-alcoholic and then you can follow it up by an alcoholic if you really wanted to.
Stack them up.
Yeah, well, exactly. If rather than being having to drink, go to the pub and drink 5 or 6 alcoholic beers and knock yourself out, but it gives you an option and it gives you the choice of not having to feel the peer pressure really. So it's there's many reasons why people would choose that lifestyle and or they choose those products really.
I guess for me it would be excuse me, not necessarily the peer pressure, but when people say you drink socially, what that means is you're out with a bunch of people and everyone is having a drink, and by default drinking is a social thing, right?
Yes, correct.
Unless you're not drinking for socializing purposes and you're just sitting at home on your own. But
you can now if you really wanted to. I mean, you can.
Yeah. But the whole point is when you're drinking, when you're out and about with people and you're not drinking, even if no one is giving you any type of peer pressure, you automatically feel a bit of weirdness. Does that make sense?
Obliged.
Yeah.
Yes.
You feel like, okay, I'm not partaking in this entire thing, and you don't feel like you're blending. And I guess one of the things that can come with things like these drinks is not having that type of feeling.
Well, exactly right. Like you just said, you know, I don't have to drink a glass of water while I'm, you know, while my mates are drinking a beer, for instance, or a sugary soda or a Coke. You know, that's the idea of being able to drink an adult drink at the same time as, you know, the rest of my mates.
Yep.
It's inclusive. It makes you feel inclusive.
Yep.
It makes you feel part of the party.
Yep.
And you know what, even if I'm not, you know, I actually enjoy beer during the week, you know, but I don't really want to have an alcoholic beer. So, you know, after, you know, during dinner, I might crack up an open bottle of a glass or a can of, you know, an alcoholic beer with my meal. It's nice, refreshing. It's probably it's healthier than, you know, most drinks out there.
Yep.
And so now you can. That's the idea of it. Is now you can do that.
Yep.
And the
Brilliant.
product, the people have this stigma about, you know, non-alcoholic is probably tasteless, right? And that's probably true back maybe 5 years ago, right?
It's not tasteless at all. Look at me.
Well, the industry has shifted so much since, and the products have improved in quality so much, I'd say, in the last year or two, right? And you know, there's so much choice out there right now.
Yeah.
So, sorry, I'm just talking about the business again or the product.
That's fine.
But I just thought I'd share
I'm
it with you.
I'm ready to try something new.
Yep. Okay. Why don't we try? This is one of my favorite. That's a beer. That's a Big Drop.
Yep.
Pale ale.
Cool.
So this guy. Let me just finish this.
You gotta be the brand ambassador for your business. You gotta smash that drink.
I know, right?
I'm drinking faster than you, but you're talking more. So
you should come work for us. So these guys are actually, they're a UK brewery, but they've just opened up recently here in Australia.
Now, question: how many calories am I racking up in this session?
Look, they're around. Most of these are around 70 calories or so.
Oh, okay.
They're not.
Oh, that's pretty
They're
alright.
actually, most of them are half the calories of a low calorie beer.
Okay, that's super important to know. Yeah.
So,
all right.
so cheers.
Cheers. Salute.
So this is also one of my favorites. So it's got this hoppy, malty sort of texture.
Yep.
It's very flavoursome. It probably needed to be a little bit more chilled. Probably warmed up a little bit.
I mean,
but
I love pale
it
ale.
still drinks really nicely.
It's pale ale, right?
It's a pale ale, correct?
Yeah.
It's got that floral sort of notes to it. It's quite fruity.
Yeah.
But it finishes. It's got a dry taste to it. So it's quite nice.
Any pale ale lovers, you've got to try this one. It is amazing.
They
Big Drop. If you're listening, check out Big Drop. They can buy it off your website.
Correct. Yes.
craftzero.com.au.
That's the one.
Let's go.
That's the one. They do a lager as well, which is really nice. But I prefer the pale ale. But I mean, everyone's different. It's the beauty about beer. It's we all have different taste buds.
I used to drink lager when I was a lot younger. Ever since I moved to Australia 7-8 years ago, your business partner and brother-in-law, Mark, he introduced me to pale ale. We went out to a couple of bars and he was like, dude, you got to try all these different, like, tried so many pale ale, and I was like hooked. But when I was younger, I used to because I used to work for Heineken. And so lager was like in my blood.
Yes.
Yeah. But I appreciate both now, but I drink more pale ale.
Well, they've actually got a 0% Heineken now. And they were actually at the beginning, they were the leaders in that sort of field. I'd say in the last couple of years.
Where, in Australia? Or?
In Australia, yes.
Okay.
And some they would sell out so quick, out of the bottle shops, and every bottle shop you go to, they'll be selling out.
Yep.
But I mean, now you know, there's so many new things that come up that, you know, there's so much choice that, you know,
A lot of competition, a lot of innovation.
A lot of competition right now in that sort of field. But I mean, Sober's actually, these guys here, Sober, they're actually they're the first fully non-alcoholic brewer to start in Australia. So one of the first ones here in Australia, or the first one to start in Australia to brew non-alcoholic beer.
I like the branding. I like
so they're Aboriginal.
the artwork.
They're Aboriginal founders, and they do have quite some nice drops that you can find on our website as well.
Shout out to Jeffrey Morgan. He was on my podcast, the first episode and another episode. I think they should work together. He's an influencer in Australia, and he works a lot with the different communities, about the Aboriginal community, First Nations communities, and he does fantastic work. So I'll connect you with him.
Yes,
maybe you can connect them together, and they can work together.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely.
He's a lot of things: fitness coach, public speaker. He comes up with own like healthy recipes. He does 10,000 things, and he is awesome. All right.
Oh, fantastic.
Cool. Are we going to try this as well, or is this just for the show?
Yeah, we can.
All right. Let me check this.
How many can you fit in there?
As long as we have time for this episode. We still got 10 more minutes, so.
Okay.
Whilst I'm drinking this, is there anything you want to tell people? Share about Craft Zero, the products, yourself, apart from obviously that you're happy to be on the show.
Look, it's look, we started a year ago, and it's grown bigger than we have expected. We're constantly running out of stock, which is a good and a bad thing.
Yep.
And really, it's thanks to our customers that they've really supported us. And our suppliers have been great. I can give so many shout outs, but I'll probably go past the 10-minute limit you got there. But there is so much room to grow, and the industry is growing. We do want to be the leaders in the market, and we have no reason not to be. So we will be adding new products constantly. We're going to be making sure our prices are competitive, and we hope to satisfy
to get your money
in a nice way.
Well, the message from me is knowing about you, what you've done with Mark and the business before, is there are a couple of lessons for any entrepreneur listening or tuning in. The first is don't try to do the same thing as what everybody else is doing. Be always on the look for something new, something disruptive. Just because doing something new, a new product, doesn't necessarily have to be technology. Could be a new business model, could be a new offering. This is where the money is. If you're doing the same thing like your neighbors or 10 other people, you're just one of many, and your profit margin is not going to be healthy in the short term or the long term. And number two, trust your gut, like your gut feeling, trust, what's in your heart. If you know it's going to work, keep going at it, and don't just stop when you get faced by the first challenge, right? There's a lot of, if it's great and if it's got a lot of potential, there's going to be a lot of challenges. So just watching you guys operating over the many years and knowing about your story, these are a couple of things that I kind of noted, and I feel like important to share with everyone watching and listening. Cool.
No, that's absolutely right, Ronnie. It's the idea of just finding that niche, finding something that relates to you personally, and and really give it a good go. As I said, there was so many obstacles at the beginning. But just follow through. And we'll get there.
I'm gonna crack this one myself.
Go for it.
Love that sound. Woohoo! All right. So how do you say the name?
So it's sober.
Sober.
Yeah.
And what's that name?
And sober with a H at the end. What's that?
Baragali.
Baragali. Well, that's.
Hope I'm not putting you on the spot.
Yeah. You are. That's an Aboriginal word, but
Sure.
I'll have to refer back to that for you. Sorry.
Sure. My bad. I ask too many questions. How do you like my serving?
Oh, that's perfect. I like the glass angling. That's perfect.
That's it. Worked in the beverage space before.
Well done. So that's a lemon aspen, I think. Yes, it is. It's a pilsner.
All right, I'm gonna have to see the bathroom after this. Cheers, man. I actually really like this.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure with got a lemon twist in it.
Yes, it's a lemon pilsner. Yeah.
Hopefully, Craft Zero provides some donations to the Ronnie Asani show. Send me a couple of cartons in this. No, just playing.
Oh, absolutely. I've got a few sitting in the back there for you.
It's really, really good. I like it.
I'm glad you like it.
Now, in everything that we had or tried, the only thing that you mix with ice is this one over here.
Yes.
Everything else, the beer, you obviously drink it as is.
Just chilled. The spirits you'll need some ice.
Yep.
You just obviously just the wines you'll just chill the red. Sorry, the whites and the rosé. Actually, it's interesting because some of the non-alcoholic reds are quite nice when they're chilled as well. So you can give that a try as well.
Cool. We'll wrap it up. I hope everyone who watched this today enjoyed it. Here at the Ronnie Asani show, I do my best to shine the light and shed the light on up and coming Australian businesses and businesses from all around the world, entrepreneurs, share stories, share insights, advice, and then have fun as we do it. So it's been a pleasure to have you, Sherif.
Thanks, Ronnie. Thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
Thank you. And please head over to craftzero.com.au. Try a few of these. I promise you, you will not regret doing that. And we'll see you next time. Thanks.
Thank you.